Good evening, everybody.
Hello there, this is the full view on the SABC News channel. Thank you so much for joining us for the same start with your news headlines.
Morning, guys. Well, evening, guys.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Can I just ask you all to mute your what you call it, your speakers?
Okay, certainly.
Your microphone, sorry. Please mute your microphones. Thank you very much. Okay, let me help this. Some are not getting it done. All right. Well, welcome to the next series of the Women of Stature webinar series. And tonight, of course, we have our very, very capable and strategic partner of Women of Stature, and that is Shereen Hunter from the Hunter Group. We are particularly excited by the fact that she has got a wonderful topic that she's going to be discussing with us tonight. I hope you've all got your fishing gear on tonight because we're going to go fishing tonight. Did you know that? And if you know that you're going fishing, please put up your hand, or there's a chat box. We want you to chat with us tonight. We want you to ask questions. We want you to participate, and I'm sure Shereen would be delighted if you are going to be participating tonight. So for those that haven't joined us before, I'm Charlotte du Plessis, and I am the founder of Women of Stature, and we are an organization in South Africa that is very, very intentional in connecting with everybody around the globe. And since lockdown, obviously, you know, life has changed quite drastically for most of us, and myself certainly has felt that, because all of a sudden I have to become very tech savvy. But thanks to a wonderful team of exceptional people that I've surrounded myself with, including Shereen, of course, it's been a wonderful experience and a worthwhile journey. So I have the saying, they say that you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I beg to differ. I really beg to differ, because if I can be taught new tricks at this stage of my life, anybody can. So without any further ado, I'd like to hand you over to Shereen and just remind you that there is a chat box. We want you to say hi to us. Make sure that you've got your fishing gear on and that you're ready to go fishing with Shereen Hunter. Over to you, Shereen.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Can everybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up in the chat box. I'll keep an eye on it during the webinar and try and keep an eye on some of the things that you're saying. I've had a look at the registrations. You know, I know most of you, a lot of you, and today and tonight, I really just want to talk to you from the heart. My disclaimer is really that I'm going to share a point of view with you tonight. It's based on many years' experience in corporate, and then also, you know, working across a number of different organizations nationally, and being exposed to a number of businesses internationally. And all things said and done, I still think there's some common denominators, you know, and as someone who loves statistics and who can calculate probability, I think it adds a tremendous amount of value if we can share the patterns that we see in business. I think sometimes, and you know, the audience tonight is largely, I'm positioned to speak largely to small and medium-sized businesses. But I think sometimes when you're in business, you seem to feel like maybe you're on your own. Are you the only one making this mistake? Or maybe you are doing things the wrong way, but you might not even realize that you're doing it wrong. And so I hope that through sharing my experiences with you, I'll be able to lift a veil, I always say, because once you see what's wrong, you can't unsee it. And you have a trained eye. And hopefully tonight we will just stir up a little bit of curiosity for you, and help you just to look at your own business differently, and consider it from possibly the customer's point of view. Because I think that's definitely one of the mistakes that I see in brand management. But let me tell you how I started my own business. I've been in my own business full-time for the last 5 years. Prior to that, I was helping my husband in his business. Prior to that, I started a business for somebody else. Prior to that, I spent 15 years in corporate working for a Bidvest company. And so I've seen a lot. But it follows a pattern, and I think that is probably the most valuable thing to know, is that I always say I have a nose for business, but I know where to look for the mistakes. I know where to look for the mistakes, and so that's what we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. So I help my husband in his business. Actually, I never planned to have my own business. I had my baby, I got married, and I got bored at home after a long stretch in corporate. And my husband invited me into his business and said, look, can you come and help me? And I think I pushed my way in, if I have to be totally honest. Started rebranding his business, put systems and measures in place, and he just grew astronomically. And that led to a number of referrals of people who watched his business. His business is 30 years old now, so very established in his market, and said, you know, what happened to that business? How did it change? And then what he did, thought he was doing me a big favor. He would tell his friends, go ask my wife, she will help you. That's how my business started. Ask my wife, she'll help you. And the truth be told, I did actually help people for a very long time before I realized, hold on, this is actually a business. It's consuming huge amounts of my resources and time. And initially what I thought I would do is I would charge people for my time, and then I would have less customers because I was trying to free up some of my time. But lo and behold, that did not happen. I put a price to the value that I was offering, and actually it got worse and not better, because people were quite prepared to pay me for my time because they perceived the value. So the first mistake that I made in starting up a business was working for free. Now, I want to ask you, because there's quite a number of people out there, and I'm assuming a lot of you have started your own businesses. How many of you, just give me a wave and tell me, started working for free? Almost for free. No? Yeah? Many people do that because they don't fully understand their own value, and they don't quite know how to price themselves in the market. And so it's a little bit of a walk through the mud in terms of finding out what is it that you really offer, what is the market prepared to pay, and creating some kind of demand. So we can take that back to the most basic. Let's say you're a nail technician, you do a course with nails. You know, you might say to a few of your friends, you know what, I'll do your nails for free. You're going to practice on them, have a look at the quality of your work, ask them, chat to your clients, what are you prepared to pay for a set of nails? That's how you start in the most fundamental way. Understanding tonight that a lot of the people that are on this webinar are people possibly working from home, may have less than 10 people in their company. A lot of people who are working alone, not necessarily from home, but in a shared office space. So, you know, it takes a bit of time to figure out exactly where you are positioned in the market. And I think what evolves over time is realizing, hold on, I can do more. This is my price. And how do I attract bigger clients? Obviously, I think that is a natural progression for any entrepreneur or small or medium-sized business. So I'm going to jump into the first slide. I think we've given ourselves a little bit of time. And I want to say the first word of advice that I would give to anybody who has their own business is that you really should choose your clients. Choose your clients. Not every lead is a perfect customer fit for your business. There is a trap and a temptation of just accepting every business that comes your way. But depending on what your business needs, you do need to be very, very careful about accepting work and your ability to deliver. I've blocked my own screen out now. There's so many pictures and faces here. I also want to say to you, and you know, I might be slung with mud for this, is don't fake it until you make it. I know a lot of people say that, but I want to be honest with you. In today's economy, where people are generally quite price sensitive, I think there is a real danger in overcommitting to customers and misrepresenting yourself, or being tempted to promise a little bit more than what you can actually do. And I've seen a lot of relationships go sour when people fake it, or they take on a job that they honestly cannot get done. So I would rather encourage you, my opinion, what I've seen in counseling clients, coaching, mentoring, is rather be confident in your promise of what you can deliver, and deliver it in absolute excellence. And that is the best way to develop a professional business relationship, and more importantly, retain the clients. So be confident in what you can offer, and then be very clear about what it is that you want from your clients. Because I can promise you now, wherever you are sitting in your business tonight, you need a certain kind of clients to move your business forward. We're going to talk about that just now in the next slide. What are the things that you want to consider before you accept a client's business? Just to be practical, number one is logistics. If you're based in Johannesburg and you need eyeball-to-eyeball contact with your client, you're not going to go advertising in Pretoria and Nelspruit and Cape Town. And that might sound like a very obvious thing to do, but you will be surprised how much wasted budget there is in brand building when people are advertising outside of the area where they are doing their business. It's completely unnecessary expense. And lo and behold, when you do get the clients and they are based in another city, the cost that it comes to for your business to be able to serve that client across distance. So think very carefully about it when you are building your brand, and try and focus your effort and your energy in the geographical area that you actually are based initially. I'm not saying you can't expand, everything is scalable, but I am saying initially, for a startup business, a small business, an entrepreneur, you want to try and keep your expenses, as tight as possible, your overheads and running costs. Try not to go and advertise your business too far from your base, wherever that base is. Second of all, I want to say cash flow is so critically important. If you need cash in the bank, you need to find clients who are prepared to pay upfront for your service, or at least at the point that the service or product is delivered. Now, I just want to throw this out there because I got given a lot of information when I started my own business. I sell time. Time is not really refundable. If I spend a day working on a project and the client, for whatever reason, defaults in payments, I cannot claim back my time. And more often than not, I've already handed over my work to the client. So I made a strategic decision in my own business, and many people told me not to do it. It's not possible. It can't work. And I promise you, here I am 5 years later with a sustainable business. I made a decision right up front. What I needed was cash in the bank because I started my business without any capital. And so I billed my clients in advance, and my clients paid in advance for the service. There was no, then when I started my business, the first 2 years, there was no deposit. There was no paying at the end of the order. I was confident in what I could deliver to my clients. I could show them the work that I could deliver. I could give them testimonials and references, and I built them in advance, and they paid in advance, and I never, ever, ever had an issue. And many people said to me, your clients will never pay you in advance. People will not, try before you buy. I said, well, that's fine, but not for what I need for my business right now. Right now, what I need cash in the bank. And I want to service clients who've got money to pay. I also have a little philosophy, and I often say to my sales consultants and my business development consultants when they're tempted to do work without payment, and I always say, you know, if the client doesn't pay at the beginning of the order, they probably won't have the money at the end. And you know, they will argue with me, but 9 times out of 10, I'm not wrong. I'm happy to refund clients if we don't deliver, and I have one client in 5 years has asked for a refund, and I won't even go into that. But I'm that confident and that trustworthy in my own business that if you give me your money and you are not happy, I'll rather give you your money back. But it's a whole other kettle of fish when I've done the work and now become a debt collector. So I made a very important decision. I do not want to be a debt collector. I don't have the heart for it. I'm far too compassionate as a person. I'd rather have my terms up front. And so when we speak to the kind of things that you consider when you are attracting a client, if you need cash in the bank, then you need to attract liquid clients. The third thing you need to consider when you are looking at a client whose work you accept is what are your resources? Because you need to consider the end from the beginning. Do you have the resources resident to complete the scope of work, at least to a degree, at least to where you can deliver on a promise? And I also just want to say at this point, if you are working on a project and the project goes beyond what you can deliver, there's absolutely no shame as an entrepreneur, as a small business or medium business, saying to your customer, I have brought you this far. What your business requires now is beyond what I can offer you. Can I refer you to somebody who can take you to the next level? And till today, I do that in my own business. I never bite off more than I can chew. I'm completely honest with my clients. I will do whatever we can do in excellence. And if I feel it is beyond me, I definitely don't fake it. I definitely don't ask my client to pay for it. I sit down in a conversation and we have a discussion around bringing other players on board and finding other ways to solve my client's problem. I think integrity is such a vital part of being a successful entrepreneur. So in a summary, really weigh it up, think it through carefully, and just be honest about the timing. It's not to say that because last year you couldn't do the project that you may not develop your business, your staff and your resources and be able to do it this year, but tell your clients in the moment if you're not able to do it. And then develop your business, and as you develop and as you build your model, stay in communication with your clients so that they know what you can take on over and above. Okay, we've touched on it slightly here. Look at the client and see if the client fits with what you need in your own business. If you need on-time payment, not necessarily upfront payments. My business has developed quite a lot over 5 years. So I can honestly say now, not all my clients pay me upfront anymore because my cash flow has improved, my liquidity has improved. I do have clients now who pay a portion upfront, a portion at the end. And my big key accounts, they don't pay me upfront at all. They need terms. And so as my business has developed and as my cash flow has improved, I'm now able, 5 years into it, 6 years into it, to be able to offer terms to bigger clients because that is what the client requires. Also make sure when you're meeting your clients is that your clients have the time, if you're a small business, to brief into you properly. A lot of small business is built on what people love doing and what they're passionate about. Sometimes, and I say it with great respect, it falls short of a little bit of experience. So a person who is very skilled and very experienced in a certain field will be able to listen to the brief and read between the lines and be able to join the dots. If you're going into a new field as an entrepreneur, small or medium-sized business, maybe things are not as obvious to you as they would be to somebody who's been in that space for 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years, and you need your client to be more clear about what it is that they're expecting. And I would definitely caution you tonight to say, if you have less than 5 years experience in any particular field, you have to really be very pedantic when you are taking a brief and understanding what clients want, whether this is a small, a medium, or a large client. And then last but not least, but this is again something very close to my heart, I think it's important to work with clients who you share values with. That's not something you always find in a textbook, but I will tell you, I've had very painful experiences trying to service a client where we do not share the same values. And I think that is very important. On-time payment, for example, would be a value. Being honest about what you expect would be a value. Paying a fair price for what you're asking your service provider to give you would be a value. So I think there's a little bit of, you know, relationship building, and obviously there's not always the luxury of a few meetings before you really engage in business. But I think as far as possible, try to engage your clients and understand and come to a point where you feel confident to proceed in the relationship with a client. I've put a footnote in there. I said some clients I have gracefully bowed out of a relationship with, where I see we are not aligning, be it in values, be it in what the client is expecting, be it in the skill or the resource that I can bring to the table. And then there are other clients where I have sacrificed everything to keep my client going, short of almost working for free, because we share the same values, we share the same vision. There's a synergy between myself and the client. They are operating in integrity. I know I can trust them, and I'll bend over backwards for them. So I just want to say that when we talk about bigger clients, I think there's a little bit more than just finding clients who spend more money and who pay more. Okay, the next thing is bigger better? And I think we kind of all know it's not necessarily better. I would definitely say a bigger client is not better when you cannot deliver on your promise. You have to be able to deliver on your promise. There's no point in getting a nice key account. They work at a certain pace of operational efficiency and you can't keep up. You put a heck of a lot of pressure on yourself. You have sleepless nights. You worry all the time, and quite frankly, it just steals your joy. So I do think big business is something that you need to gear up for operationally and more so from a resource point of view. I also want to tell you, big businesses can completely destroy your business if you are not yet bulletproof and cannot survive the hits and the misses. Big business can be very critical of you. If you are in any way sensitive, emotional, or the slightest bit insecure, it can become very, very personal. And I call it the outlier. Criticism can be the outlier. It's a massive distraction sometimes. One person's criticism can take you and your whole business in a completely different direction, because you perceive them to be more knowledgeable than you or having more influence than you, when really it is just one person's opinion. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But in my experience, and the people that I've coached and mentored over the last few years, they take it extremely personally when big businesses criticize them. And this is a real risk to the longevity of the organization. I've seen businesses close their doors because of criticism. It's not logical in any way, but it can hit the heart and it can have huge consequences. The other thing is, if you have a bigger client and they don't pay you 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it can shut a business down. So I think it's a very important thing to consider when you're hunting for the bigger clients, that you don't build your business on 1 or 2 or 3 big clients. Very, very risky. Okay. I think a third reality check is, you must know the more clients invest, the more they expect. So as a business owner, entrepreneur, you must know that you cannot treat all your clients the same. If you're going to paint it with one brush, you're going to lose clients along the way. Clients that are spending more money are expecting more from you, and you must define in advance what value you give people for the investment that they make with your business. And then finally, I always say, and it comes back to a big business that can destroy a business, a smaller business, is you must always be able to afford to lose a client and not lose your business. And, you know, people will shake their head in agreement, but I can tell you now, I have seen big business close because one big client withdrew their business. So I would like to put it out to you, and if you've experienced this, please, give me comments. If you've if you've experienced any of the above. But I want to say to you, when you pick up a big client, and a big client could be for you, let's say, 50,000 Rand a month, there must be an automatic queue for you to find other smaller clients. We call it the bread and butter money around that bigger client, because that one client can consume all of your resources. Before you know it, you bat your eyelids. You've been working with that one client for 12 months. You haven't developed the market around your business. And now you're almost held ransom by your one big client. And then sometimes, for no fault of their own, they need to, through their own systems, procedures, or policies, change service providers. And it's almost like people have to start their businesses all over again. So, be careful with these bigger clients, and make sure that as you retain or acquire the bigger clients, that you continually, and it is a discipline, develop your markets. Don't become overly reliable on 1 or 2 or 3 clients. It's not good business. Okay, preparing for the big catch. Am I telling you don't attract a bigger client or don't go after the big clients? Absolutely not. There is nothing more rewarding as an entrepreneur, small business owner, medium business owner, when you get a lovely key account, when you can enter into a contract, when you have sustainability, recurring income, more profitability. It is extremely rewarding, but just make sure it's win-win, that it's working for the client, and definitely that it's working for you, because you are most at risk as the smaller party. And my husband, who is a boxing coach, says something, and it's very, very simple, but it's very, very true. He said, Shereen, the biggest fighter will always win. If the biggest boxer will normally always win. So it's very difficult if you are in a business partnership or relationship with a client much bigger than you, with far more resources, legally, financially, in influence, whether they're right or wrong. Normally what you see is the smaller party backing down and backing back. And it is unfortunate, but often big companies get away with murder, and it comes at the expense of the smaller service provider. So make sure it is a win-win. Okay, now we have a really nice customer in front of us, and it works. We can deliver on the promise. They line up with what it is that we're looking for in a customer. What is the next step? The next step is for you to establish credibility. The million-dollar question, and I always ask this of myself when I'm considering who to engage in business with. This supplier, let's say, for example, you want me to spend my time and money in your business. You want me to invest in your business. Give your business my time, give your business my money. I'm the client. Have you spent enough time and enough money in your own business? And I have to ask that question because I think sometimes we want from customers what we are not prepared to put into our own businesses. So if you want your client to invest a large sum, remember we're talking now about attracting bigger businesses, then it must reflect through our business excellence, that we have spent the time developing excellence within our own business, and that we've invested money in making sure we meet a minimum criteria in terms of presenting ourselves as being professional. Because I don't think you're going to attract big clients, big investors in your business easily if you are perceived as being unprofessional. Okay, so people ask, who is this brand? Customers want to see if your business is a professional business and if you can deliver on your promise. Successful decision makers, those are the bigger clients who are spending more money, don't like to waste money. Successful people, on the whole, in their businesses, do not like to waste money. That is why they are successful. That is why they are liquid, because they are prudent with their finances and they know where to invest their finances. You can't waste money and be successful. So that is why I said right at the beginning, don't fake it until you make it, because you might catch the client once, but you might not get them a second time if you destroy your reputation and your credibility with the overcommitment and under-delivery. Okay, this is where brand building starts to really kick in, everyone. the clients are subliminally, without even realizing it, looking for your visual and auditory clues about you and your brand and your business. Visual and auditory. Remember, they've got nothing to judge you on except by what they see and what they hear. So you cannot say, you know, we all like to say, but in business it doesn't work that way. Don't judge a book by its cover. Unfortunately, in the world of business, the client, the consumer, the market will judge the book by the cover, because what else do we have to judge the book by? Most people in a normal business transaction don't read the whole book. So they look at the cover. What is this person saying? What are they publishing? And what do they look like? How are they presenting themselves to me? Is it professional, and does it justify the amount of money that they want me to spend with their business? So please consider that. And I'll just tell you where I see it go a little bit amiss in the world of social media, because maybe that's where you see it the most. You cannot build your business like an island, separate from your personal and professional image. You cannot build your business like an island, separate from your personal and professional image. They are hand in glove. In other words, and I see people making this mistake, you cannot be negative on your personal Facebook page. You cannot be insulting or derogatory, although maybe we all err on that from time to time, you know, not even realizing it. But I think you've got to be aware. People want to know who the face is behind the brand, definitely this generation, and they connect the character of who you are as a person with the business. I'm talking now about startup developing businesses. I'm not talking about big companies where you may not even know who the shareholders are. You know, you may not really know who the board of directors are, and quite frankly, you might not care. I'm talking about somebody who is starting up a business where the character of the person, the founding member, is intimately connected to the professional brand that they are trying to develop. Things like bad language is a no, 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 no. You cannot swear like a trooper on your personal Facebook page and then sell education to children if you are a school teacher on the school page, or if you want to start up a school. Do you make the connect? Just give me a yes or a no. You cannot be selling spiritual enlightenment on your professional page and then have things that err on being, I don't know, in your face, maybe very sexy on your personal page. Or so you must pick your lane. Are you a professional person? If you're a professional person, conduct yourself as a professional all the time, not just on your social media page, not just on your web page, but on your personal page. At family events where they are judging you, where they become a great source of referrals amongst your friends. Socializing. There's no downtime when you're building a brand. That brand must be consistent. You must consistently project what you want people to think of you. And if you don't want them to think that of you, don't project it. So I just want to, you know, I labor on that a little bit, because I often look, especially because we all can publish now on social media, and I just think to myself, there's not alignment here between the person who's building this business and the actual business that they're trying to sell. Another example I just want to give you comes to mind. If you are a coach or a mentor or a person who is teaching people or inspiring people, you don't want to write doom, gloom, and depression on your social media page. Like, nobody's going to come to you to be motivated. And you can't just say, I'm having a bad day. You can't have a bad day. You actually just have to have a little bit of consistency, and then, you know, rather talk to your husband or talk to your children or talk to your parents or talk to your friend off the record, so that it's not confusing to the market what message it is that you are trying to send. Okay, so all these sensory judgments come into play, and you must have a public image and reputation that is and looks trustworthy. How are we doing for time? I'm going to zoom. So this is where brand management starts. What it is not, and I'm only saying this because I engage on a day-to-day basis with lots of people that when you talk about brand management, they think it's the logo. and they think it's a digital advert. Brand management is much, 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 much more than that. It is, what do you offer? My favorite question when I meet a client, what do you do? If you can't tell me in 3 lines what you do, you haven't clearly decided what it is that you do. Why should potential clients buy from you and not somebody else? Who is your ideal client? How do your clients make decisions? And this is where it goes very pear-shaped, people. I just want to tell you, when I sit down and I ask clients, how does your client make a decision? What I often hear is how the business owner makes a decision. That makes no difference to a decision maker who is a client. You have to put the client's hat on, maybe speak to your clients and ask them on what basis they make decisions, because that will help you position your business correctly. Does your image appeal? And I've underlined it because it is a critical success factor. Does your image appeal to the decision maker in your target market? If you were selling sweets to children, children are your target market, but they might not be the decision maker. Their parents are the decision makers. So does the image that you project appeal to the person who's got to pay the money? That's the bottom line. And often where I see branding going wrong and brand management going wrong is where people develop brands that appeal to them personally. Sometimes even to the people who they want to use the product, but not the person who signs the check. Think very carefully. It needs to appeal to the person who authorizes the payment, the person who's actually going to lay out the money. And if you look at your brand through those eyes, you might see your brand positioning is a little bit off kilter. And then obviously, what can you offer and make a profit on? Because this is a big pattern amongst entrepreneurs, small business, medium business, is offering products that you haven't done the numbers for, and sometimes not even realizing that you're not making a profit. So it's consuming resources, but it's not really profitable. And even if you love doing it and you want to do it and you're passionate about it, in business terms, if it is not profitable, I think it is so very, very important to know where to cut your losses. Don't do it just because you love it and you're passionate about it. That is called a hobby. That is called a volunteering in your personal time. Your business must be profitable. It must make money sense. And then obviously the next thing is, where do your clients easily find you? Not where can you be found and where do you like going? Where will the customers start looking for your business? And is it easy to find you? Now, all of these questions need to be discussed in consultation before you design the logo. And it is unfortunate in my business, I see lots of people designing the logo, doing all the creative, pretty things, putting it out into the market. 12 months later, you come back to a project or a business and you say, this business is not making money, this business is failing. And I say, okay, well, let's answer the first few questions here. What is it that you offer? You know, who are the potential clients? Who are the decision makers? What makes your decision maker tick? And I can absolutely see just a completely blank stare, because this whole brand, business, or project has been developed around personal preferences without any consideration for target market. That is brand management. These are the reasons why you don't start your business with a graphic designer. You sit down with a brand custodian who understands brand management and who can help you think through the process, answer the questions, tick the blocks. Is this a unisex brand? Is it aimed at females? Is it younger? Is it older? In which geographical area? We answer all of these questions, and then we start to develop a creative feel. So what is important is that you need to understand the brand. And then when you understand that, it directs your creativity. It directs the direction, it directs your creative flow. So you don't actually choose what you like. Honestly, if you're building a business, you put forward to the market what the target market wants. They define your business image. So if yellow is your favorite color with purple spots, it might not appeal to an HR manager. It might not appeal to a man who is over 50, who for all intents and purposes might be the person who signs this off. You can get through the secretary, you might even get through a middle line of management, but when you sit at a corporate level or a board level, all these things are very unimpressive. You're laughing, Jatem, it's true. I made this mistake myself. I've submitted reports and understood. I had one of my biggest mentors in my life tell me, don't give me a coloring in book. Give me the numbers. Show me the facts. This thing needs, it lacks substance. I was very young, so I can tell the story and laugh at myself now. I was 23 years old, and one of my mentors said, I spent a whole weekend, maybe a whole week, preparing a report, presented it on the Monday. It had all the beautiful colors in it, and I was like so excited. I thought it was a wonderful presentation, and he took one look at it, and he threw it at me across it on his desk, and he said, listen, I didn't ask you for a coloring in book. I asked you for a report. And you need to give me substance. And, that day I was mortified. I was 22, 23 years old and totally devastated. But what a wonderful mentor. What a wonderful teacher. And I went back to the drawing board. I did the work. I could deal with the criticism. I took it on the chin. I went back and I had a look at what other reports looked like, and I could see the error of my ways. And I presented a report that I was truly, truly proud of, and has taken me 25 years of experience through corporate. So guys, it's not about putting to the market what you like. It's an emotional hurdle that you do need to get over, and you do need to give the market what they want and what appeals to them. Okay, so considering everything that I've said, how many people on this webinar, and I just would like you to, by show of hands, comments, tell me, considering all of these things, how many people would want to relook their identity and their business, and how you are actually positioned and perceived by the decision makers in your target market? Yes, we have a yes from Vanessa. Wonderful, wonderful. Obviously, if you want your business to grow, obviously, if you haven't considered these things, and you definitely should have considered them by this point, you absolutely do need to relook how you are positioned in the market. Okay, so let me tell you why people, SMEs, startup entrepreneurs, small business, medium business enterprise, why do they not work through agencies? I'll tell you why, because I've worked with many agencies. They have a reputation for being expensive. And if you come out of corporate, who will agree with me, at agency fees, they're expensive. Maybe not if you're a big established brand, but they are if you are a startup entrepreneur. And you might not all be starting with capital. How many people started their business without capital? I'd just like to get some indication on here. Yep. So some people, small bit of capital, little bit of a lump sum. Yeah, not everybody starts with a lot of money in the bank. So you avoid people who have a reputation for being expensive when you're starting up a business. But what do people do, and where does it go wrong? So what do people do? They don't have the money, but you do need an identity. We know that. So small, medium-sized businesses, and it is a pattern, believe me and every other person in my industry, what people do when they don't have cash flow, they try to do it themselves. How many of you, tell me tonight, have tried to do it yourself? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, how many of you try to get your friend, your son, your daughter, your cousin, your uncle's, auntie's friend to do it for you for free because they said they are a designer or they know something about marketing? They'll do it for free or actually at a very low price. Of course, all of us. Of course. Exactly. Okay. Or what's more fashionable now, but it just gives me the heebie-jeebies, are all these online digital, I don't know what we want to call them, sales traps where they make you a promise for 500 Rand, 1,000 Rand, and they're going to just deliver all your dreams, and you can do it quick and easy. Debbie, stop talking about me. Listen, everybody, I've done this myself. I know where it falls short. I just know better now. So hopefully you'll also know better. Okay, so we all try to do it ourselves. We all try to get somebody to help us for free. But honestly, when you're trying to attract big clients, that really, oh, what happened there? That really affects your business. It's a very, very expensive mistake if you want a bigger client. And why do I say that? Besides the fact that if you do it wrong the first time, you invariably 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line have to do it again. So if you paid a little, you will probably pay a little more the second time. And if you can hang in long enough, if your business can actually go the distance, eventually you're going to pay again. So you're going to keep paying for the same job to be done over and over and over again until somebody does get it right. Much easier to do it right the first time. It is much easier. Okay, so don't believe people that tell you, give me 500 Rand and I'll give you all of this and I'll promise I'll care about your business and you won't go wrong. It's actually just so horrible what is happening in digital space now. And people, you know, they really do want solutions, and they do want affordable solutions, and they really do gamble a little bit and take a little bit of a chance. But honestly, if you don't have money to waste, don't go that route. There are other ways around it. There is a cost, obviously, for everything, but there are also options. It's not everybody has to pay the same. Sorry, I just want to see, I keep getting a whole chat. You can negotiate with your supplier. You can roll things out over time. You can build it up slowly. So let's do a price check. Now, I put a little funny photo here. I hope this will make you all laugh a little bit. This was not me, but I looked like one of these three girls, and I actually at one stage thought I'd just ask you, pick which one I was. That's what I looked like in 1997, when I was just, getting involved with marketing and working with big ad agency. It was a big bush of curls, and you know, life was very fun. And I remember the very first time that I worked with an agency, and I got the first quote. My first time that I saw the costing involved. I worked for a subsidiary of Bidvest, and they were rebranding. And the very first invoice, the very first quote that came through to refresh a corporate identity came through at around 30,000 Rand. Now that was 1997. It was a long time ago. And then already in corporate SA, that was like the entry point for corporate identity. And that was a very, very small brand management agency, in fact. So the bill adds up quite quickly. That was 1997. Let's just take a big jump and have a look at what it would look like through another small agency. I think Hunter Group is relatively small. What does it look like in 2020? And I've put our rates in here in a medium-sized market. I think we're slightly below market related. I've deliberately positioned us that way. But if you look at what a corporate ID refresh looks like in today's terms and the number of hours, remember, brand management, consultation, we're selling time. It manifests in a product, but we're selling time. What happened to the scribbles? Am I the only one seeing scribbles on the screen? Do you see all these yellow lines here, people? Is it just me?
Yeah, there are yellow lines.
Ah, Charlotte, I don't even know where they came from, but never mind. Let's keep going. So if you look at corporate ID in today's terms,
you press something on your keyboard,
well,
the highlighter, so it will keep doing that as you move the mouse.
Okay, but I'm moving the mouse now. But okay, it doesn't matter. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We don't have a lot of time. We've still got questions and answers. In today's terms, when I do a corporate identity refresh or redesign or repositioning of a brand, we're looking at around 91 working hours. I divide that between the kind of work that we do. Logo design on our side, normally we can get it done in a day. It's me, it's the designer. We're talking to and fro with the client. We're looking at fonts, we're looking at colors, we're looking at the psychology of color. What appeals to the target market? Let's say that's a full day's work. Corporate stationery, 4 hours. Designing templates, 3 hours. Email signatures, up to 20. A basic 3-page website would take us 8, 16, 24, 32, let's say 4 days to do. web analytics, which are all the plugins on the back end, social media, creative work. The list goes on. Helping my clients write their content and direct them accordingly. And then also how to set up a bulk email platform, bulk SMS platform, and setting up of a YouTube channel. These are the basics nowadays of branding or making yourself visible or available online. You can see there, if you work that out, you're looking at around 51,000 Rand to get that done on the average day, the average business. Okay, I wish I could get rid of all these yellow lines, but never mind. Is this affordable to a small or medium-sized business? And I'd love to see in the chats what your feedback is. Is that affordable for a startup, small business, even a medium business trading for a couple of years? Not at all. Not at all. Nope. Absolutely. And this is why small and medium-sized businesses are not doing it. So I've chatted with Charlotte, and obviously a medium-sized business warrants more time than a small or a medium-sized business warrants more time, but it is possible to get the foundational work done in a brand launch, brand activation. I'm seeing lots of chats here. I just want to see because it's all come out. Guess I'm looking at it's worth more than a price. No, no, no. Okay, sorry. What we can offer through Hunter Group this evening, we're going to do it from the 7th to the 11th of May, is a package that would be valued at 52,000 Rand. We can tailor make and bring to the value of 15,000 Rand. Now you ask me, Shereen, how do you do that? Does it take less than 91 hours? I would have to categorically say to you, yes. We definitely would then do it in less than 91 hours. Why do I package it that way and how do we save the money? Obviously, if I sit and work on your work all at the same time, it flows far more fluidly than if you contact me on a Monday and then on a Wednesday and then on a Thursday and then on the next week, Friday. So my package that I'm offering through the webinar.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Your screen is not showing. Your slide, sorry, is not showing.
Ah, let's go there.
There we go.
Ah,
okay,
perfect.
you're back.
And my yellow lines are gone. So the package is tailor-made so that we can work through your brand foundational work seamlessly. Rather than spreading it over a period of 60 days, we will try and get your brand foundation done over a period of 14 days. So that means everything that was on the list that I've just presented to you now, let's just go back a step. Yeah, all of this could potentially go out in a period of 14 days. It makes it nice for me because I have one designer working on your stuff rather than a team of designers, and obviously then it takes us a lot less time to get your work out. That's the only way that we could bring it down from what would normally cost you over a period of 2 months, some clients 3 months, into a period of 14 days. You get your work out quicker, but obviously at a much more reduced price. I also want to mention to you, before I continue to the next slide, and say that, you know, if you're one of the people listening to the webinar tonight and you say, you know what, Shereen, yes, it's a great saving. 35,000 Rand is a great saving. And I want to just say to you, it is a great saving. It is really a great saving. But I just don't have 15,000 Rand right now. I want to say to you, always engage, not just with me, forget me. I love, my favorite saying, it's not about me. Whoever you want to do business with, whoever your preferred service provider is, go back to them and engage and say, I can afford this. What can you give me for what I can afford? Ideally, you want to try and get it done all together. I'm telling you, it is in the best interest of your business to try and get everything done at the same time. It is more fluid. But if you cannot do that, and I've had it, and there's some of the people on this webinar who've come back to me and said, you know what, Shereen, prior to today, I just don't have that kind of budget. Meet me halfway. Okay, let me tell you what meet me halfway means to me. Doesn't mean I work for free. It means I will help you to do things in the right order, and I will take the budget you have and give you the best amount of value for that budget. And we roll it out over time. It's not the ideal situation. You do, if you're fishing for bigger clients, remember that was our topic today. If you're fishing for bigger clients, you want to put your best foot forward. In other words, you want to have the right logo, you want to have the right corporate stationery, you want your invoices to be right, you want your website to be perfect, because you've got one shot at a big client. But sometimes you're not ready for the big client. And I hope that's come through nicely this evening. If you're not ready to hook the big clients, if you are not set up correctly, you can roll out the project over time. You can roll it out over 3 months, you can roll it out over 6 months, and break it up into the sum of its parts. That decision hinges entirely on what you are able to invest in your business. Okay? So I don't want to put anybody off with my business or any other agency's business. Go back to your preferred supplier always and ask them to direct you within your budget. And anybody who's got an ounce of integrity will give you the time of day, will give you the right advice, and will add value to you as a business. Whatever you do, Marelise, Angelique, Gail, don't do nothing. Please don't do nothing. The market in South Africa is becoming increasingly competitive, and you will be amazed when you look back 6 months, 12 months down the line, how much you've accomplished, even with a little budget. So I want to encourage everybody, get the right advice. You know what? Rather take a little bit longer to develop your brand and connect with people who know what they're doing. You're not doing yourself a favor by getting things done for free. People that are not qualified, they don't have the insight, they don't have the experience, they might not be skilled in that area. You are not doing your brand, your business, any favors whatsoever getting advice on that level. Rather go, put your pride in your pocket, approach the best person you know to do the job, and ask them how can they help you within the framework of your resources to take your business forward. And I honestly do believe that good people of substance, they will engage you and they will grow with you. Little fish become big fish. You might be a little fish today, but you know what? If you do it right and you get the right advice and you meet amazing people along the way, they honestly do help you to build your business. Then I just want to add on and say, obviously, we want to add a little bit of value, a little bit of fun. And Charlotte and Leon, who are behind the scenes, always encourage us to give people who support the brand, the webinars, absolute value for money. The first 5 people who do take up the offer, I'm going to add 2 additional hours to your package. And I'm going to speak about what I've really stressed tonight, and that is lining up your personal brand. If your brand is Debbie Hanekom, and how does that line up with your business, Blue Square? Are they sending the same message? How are you presenting yourself personally? And is that aligning with the brand that you are trying to build? Yes? Sorry?
Before I started coaching with you, my stuff was all over the place. The website, the letterheads, everything had its own, what I thought it was like brilliant. And only once you start looking at putting a whole package together of what you want your company to represent, can you really see value in this. And a half an hour consultation actually shows you how you've got it all missed. Especially when you start out, you think you know exactly, you've worked for a corporate company and you look at what they've done and you think, you know what, now, wow, I'm going to do all of this and whatever. And you get going, but you waste so much time. I've wasted so much time and money on dripping a few rand here and a few rand there and getting this done and getting this done the cheap way.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
true, Debbie, and that's why I say, doing it the wrong way is so expensive. And the reality is that as an entrepreneur or startup business, you actually can't afford to make mistakes. And you want to work with people who understand that. And so even sometimes I'll give you advice you don't want to hear. I'm going to tell you, don't do it like that. It's expensive. You're going to make a mistake. I've seen it. Many clients still think, you don't really understand, and they'll go and they'll do it wrong. And I often say to my team, we laugh about it. I say, just give them 3 months, they'll be back. And as true as God made little green apples, in 3 months' time, they come back and they say, you know what, you were right. And you know what, I've learned the hard way. And it is unfortunate sometimes that people do have to learn the hard way. But that's why I say, align yourself with people who give honest advice. If you don't like what they're saying, it doesn't mean they're wrong. Leave yourself open to scrutinize your brand, scrutinize your business, and to be able to take the criticism, take it on the chin, and really be honest with yourself, and try not to jump around with your service providers. I just want to add that in there. Whether you work with Hunter Group, whether you work with whoever, once you find a good, credible person who is speaking into and directing your business, don't jump around. And I see people that just get started in traction and then they jump to the service provider and then they get going here and then they drive. And everybody's got a different opinion. And then in the end, the entrepreneur is so confused, they actually don't know who to believe. So do yourself a favor, commit to your business relationships, build strategic partnerships, and then stay the course. Be patient, allow your work, your seed to produce fruit. Don't jump around from pillar to post between service providers, because that's when in the public eye you start to see a big mishmash. This color blue there and that color yellow there and this image here and that content there, and then in the end it just doesn't look professional and you're not attracting the right level of customer to your business. I think I've said a lot. Is there any questions that anybody would like to ask me? I will jump over quickly to chats. Any questions? No questions? Thank you, Vanessa. If you just needed a website, Suzette asked if I just need a website, then that's all we would give you a price on, Suzette. We would just have a look at what it is that you need, and try and help you. We'll quantify it for you. Everything is quantified with me in advance. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't like nasty surprises when it comes to pricing. I don't like to hear things added on in the end. One thing I pride myself in as the owner of my own business is that we present everything up front and you can make an informed decision. I find design is at a cost and the printing comes in and it becomes quite expensive, Joanna. It's true, Joanna, but sometimes you just need the right advice with regards to printing. Nicole Fuller, who's on this webinar tonight, will tell you, there's print cost and there's print cost and there's different kinds of prints. And I don't know if Roxanne, I didn't see you in the comments, Roxanne, but there's massive price differences in the type of print that you print, what kind of print you're going to use on the kind of paper, and it doesn't have to. If you find it that a print price is outside of your budget, go back to the person who quoted you and tell them, listen, I still want the product, but can you maybe reconstruct, can you specify differently to bring my price down? And they should really also educate you on what is the best way to print so that you get the best bang for your buck. We've just done some really nice flyers for Nicole. The difference between 1,000 and 5,000 flyers was 300 Rand. And you need people of integrity who will pass those quantity purchase discounts onto you, not rip you off, be honest with you and tell you how to buy best, if I can put it that way. Anything else? Any other questions? Perfect. Can I hand over to you, Charlotte? And would you like to chat about the winners? Because I had some prizes to give away.
Absolutely. And I actually did, in the chat box, I did ask people not to leave before we have announced the winners, because we would obviously love the winner to still be online with us. So, yes, so throughout the registration process, Shereen offered some wonderful incentive prizes for those who are going to obviously invite others to come online with us tonight. And I just wanted to ask the following people to unmute themselves. Angelique Smith, can you please switch on your mic? Hi, Angelique.
Hello.
Well, there you go. There you go. So, Angelique, you have managed to get more than 20 people to join this webinar tonight. Did you realize that that you were actually one of the leading people to be advertising and promoting this webinar tonight? And so, well done. You achieved the most points. You achieved 421 points.
Yeah, this was a prize that I definitely wanted to win, but I felt that everyone needed to be in this webinar because I've met Shereen, I've dealt with Shereen, she's been dynamic, and for the fact that it was a pre-webinar, I wanted to get as many people on as possible. So I'm ecstatic, actually.
Right, so Shereen, would you like to tell Angelique what she's won?
Well, Angelique has won a 3,000 Rand graphic design voucher, which basically will give you, Angelique, between 1 and 2 days of design at our office. You'll be invited into Hunter Group. You will be allocated a graphic designer, and you can design or develop whatever you want. So whether you want to design something, whether you want to build your website, whether you want to reconstruct the content or the imagery, prepare your content for print work, anything digital that's online, the world is your oyster. Our offices are at your disposal. Our creative team will be there to serve you.
Thank you. I'm really, 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 really happy. Thanks, Shereen. Thanks, Charlotte.
Well done, Angelique. So now you hear all the other ladies. It's worth spending a little bit of extra time and effort, and here you could have been one of those looking at winning such a wonderful prize. Shereen, thank you so much. But then we have another one, Shereen. You were very, very generous with your prizes tonight. So I wonder who has won our random draw for attending this webinar. And I believe if this person is still online with us, do we have Brian online with us still? Brian, are you with us still? Please switch on your mic, Brian, if you are.
I actually saw him in the comments not so long ago.
Brian, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
There we go, Brian. So, Brian,
thank you so much.
Yeah, I believe that you have won something tonight as well.
Whoa, praise God, praise God. That's wonderful.
So, Brian, I believe there are 2 prizes for this webinar.
Okay.
And I believe the one that you have won, that's now Angelique having won one of them, and now you've won. What is the other prize, Shereen? What has Brian won tonight?
The second prize was a print voucher to the value of 1,000 Rand. So, Brian, you can decide what it is that you want to print, whether it's flyers, business card, printing on pens, whatever you want, to the value of 1,000 Rand. I'm co-owner of a company called Beata Promotional Printers. And obviously, a lot of people don't know we do our own in-house print, or that it is a sister company to Hunter Group. And so through Beata, through Hunter Group, I will sponsor it, and we will print it for you at Beata Promotional Printers to the value of 1,000 Rand.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful. Shereen,
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you too.
Wow, so it's been worth your while, Brian.
Yes. I'm so excited even just to be a part of this, eh?
Fantastic. Well, ladies, it's been absolutely wonderful. And Shereen, my goodness, Shereen, you've shared some very, very valuable advice. Now, I can vouch for Shereen and the Hunter Group, because what is it, about 2 years ago, 18 months ago, time flies by so quickly. I was at the end of my tether as well. And in fact, it's longer than that because it was before Leon and I connected and he became my coach. So I also sat in front of Shereen, very disillusioned, and I was about to throw in the towel as well. And what transpired thereafter was incredible, because what was obvious to Shereen, and obviously me being very, I'm a novice in that field of brand development, and that was that my brand was all over the place. And in a question of a few weeks, she summed it up and she gave me, you know, the entire framework of how to actually position the brand. And since then, it's just been growing from strength to strength. So I can certainly vouch for that, because the one thing that I realize in you know, when you choose your service provider, and Shereen, I think this is, you know, where you really have the edge. It's not about how much money you as a service provider can make out of this client, but it's how much value you can bring to the client and the outcome. So I think that's what I appreciated mostly about Shereen over this period of time. And we built a wonderful relationship that's really blossomed into a friendship as well, because I think, you know, you've just got so much more that you give than just the service. There's a passion, there's a real desire to really make a huge impact on the client and what they can then in turn do in the marketplace. So one of the things that I've noted here, and I'm about to post it on Facebook, what I picked up from here was you're talking about honesty as a service provider. That's so important, that you're not over promising and under delivering. And Shereen, I think in essence, that's what any business should be striving towards, is total and absolute honesty. The other thing, of course, which I picked up is the personal brand that you are building alongside your business brand. And I shudder sometimes, Shereen, when I see what people are posting on social media and how it totally contradicts their business brand. And I think I've become particularly sensitive to that. And I must say that over the lockdown period in particular, it's as though, you know, some people didn't realize to what extent that they were actually going on social media. And I was just telling Shereen not so long ago, in fact, last week, I said, I'm actually off Facebook at the moment because I shudder when I see what some people are posting, and I don't think they realize that it has the potential to damage their personal brand as well as their business. So I think that's a very important point that you made there, Shereen. Then the other thing is, does your image appeal to the decision maker in your target market? And I think that's exactly it. And it gets back to, what are you actually showing and reflecting or projecting out there in the marketplace? Does that appeal to the decision maker ultimately that's going to do business with you? So I really think that anybody who wasn't on this webinar tonight has missed out. And you know, because I do think it was of great value to everybody. So Shereen, I just want to say thank you very, very much for sharing your wisdom and your experience and expertise on the webinar tonight. I see that people are saying, Shereen, thanks so much, Shereen, got the creative juices flowing. Thanks, Shereen, always great listening to your insights. Thank you so much, Shereen. Was extremely interesting, and we'll certainly contact you. Oh, wow. So there we go. We've got some people that are already seeing the value straight off the bat. Then before we come to closure completely here, Shereen, if you'll just permit me to just tell everybody that, you know, we have several webinars coming up during the month of May. We now have your contact details. and we will be inviting you to join us for other webinars in the month of May and months to come, because we've got into a nice rhythm already, and we obviously realizing the extent of what is going on around us, and to keep connected with our community, and obviously our extended community now as a result of these webinars. So we've got some very, very interesting people that are being that have actually committed to being online with us as our presenters, as Shereen has done tonight. So I want you to please watch this space and look out for our emails, where we're going to be inviting you to join us as well. So Shereen, would you like to have the last say and before we all sign off?
I just want to say thank you to you, Charlotte, for making this platform available so that people can be connected and that we can learn from one another. I think it's so valuable as you develop in business to just continue to learn. You know, you don't always have to take in everything that you hear, but you know, there's a saying that says, chew the meat, spit out the bones. If you take one thing from tonight that works for you in your business, it can be a game changer. And I just want to encourage people to keep on staying connected in communities online and also, very importantly, offline, and continue to grow in love.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much to everybody that was part of tonight's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. And all that we can say is, you know, we know that we're in a bit of a bubble at the moment, but hopefully it's not going to be for too long. But the webinars, as I say, will continue for an indefinite period of time, irrespective. And all that I can say from here, from the team, is good night, God bless, and you know, keep your eye on the goalpost. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.